Hello and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and just stick around. Also, if you need any help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching, email coaching, small group coaching, as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. So if you guys are interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, I wanted to give you guys a reminder that your manifestation is always a choice. There is never a point in time when your manifestation is not a choice, and the choice is yours, it's nobody else's, and you can choose at any moment what you identify with, what assumptions and what beliefs you adopt. It is always and at any moment a choice of assumptions, a choice of beliefs, a choice of state, a choice of what reality you identify with, how you perceive your reality, and in general, what you identify with and who you identify as. So stay tuned because this is what I'm going to discuss. So when I say that your manifestation, what reality you choose, what story you choose is always your choice, I mean that quite literally. I don't mean that as a metaphor. I don't mean that as, yes, it applies some of the time, but it doesn't apply in other cases. It applies in every single case. Everything that you're manifesting, everything that you're experiencing in your outer world, in your external world, in your 3D reality, everything is a result of what you have chosen to dominantly identify with and who you have dominantly chosen to identify as. I have said before that the whole point of manifesting is actually to acquire self-mastery, to acquire mastery of your thoughts, of your feelings, of your emotions, of your states, of your beliefs, your assumptions, your opinions. And part of self-mastery is actually remaining as unmoved as possible from what is happening in the 3D, in the current circumstances, what other people say or do or don't do, other people's opinions, other people's conditioning, the whole social conditioning, and just that whole structure that we've been instructed to believe as true, that we've been conditioned to believe as the truth, as the one and only reality. As conscious manifestors, as self-masters, if you will, we are learning to actually unlearn all of that, train our mind to think a different way, and actually we're learning to choose what reality we want to experience, what story we want to experience, what possibilities we want to delve into, what we want for our lives, for ourselves, for the people around us, for our relationships, for our work, for our career, for our finances, for our health, our fitness, our social life, you name it. So I know we're all human. I know we all get carried away by what's happening in the 3D here and there. I know that sometimes we feel like life is happening to us as opposed to it happening through us, which is the truth and the reality. However, our job as conscious manifestors is to always come back to what our core truth is. And our core truth is we always have choice. Because there are infinite realities, infinite possibilities, infinite stories, infinite versions of this reality that we can choose from, that we have an abundance of options, an abundance of choices, and we can always choose what we think, what we believe, what we assume, how we perceive things, how we interpret things, what meanings we attach to things, how we perceive someone's behavior towards us, how we perceive something that's happening, what we think and what we expect is going to happen next, what we expect deep down, and all of these things. And I know a lot of this is a product of our social conditioning. I know a lot of this might need to be unlearned so that we relearn and we reteach our mind to think a different way. I get that is a process. However, in order to train ourselves to think in this new way, we need to actually practice it. We need to actually start practicing thinking in that new way. So even though at times it might feel like, oh, my emotions are much bigger than me, they're basically controlling me, or my thoughts are much more bigger than me, they're controlling me, that is never the actual truth. If you're coming from a state of victimhood, that might feel like the truth. So if in that moment you're in a state of feeling like a victim, feeling like life is happening to you, which does happen to all of us from time to time, But if you're coming from a state of victimhood and you feel like you're helpless, you're hopeless, you're powerless, there's nothing you can do, you have no choice, you have no options, well, I'm here to tell you, think again, think twice. You always 100% have the choice of what thoughts to identify with. You might not have the choice of what thoughts pop into your head, but you have 100% choice on whether you identify with them and whether you believe them. And whether you start identifying yourself as your thoughts, or whether you actually remember that you are above and beyond your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. Same thing with emotions. I know sometimes we have big emotions coming. However, you don't need to choose to identify with those emotions. If they belong to the old story, if they belong to the victimhood state, if they belong to a state of woe is me and why did this happen to me, why did my SP do that to me, and so on and so forth, you don't have to choose to identify with that emotion. You don't have to choose to believe it. And I'm perfectly aware that a lot of the time, like I just said, emotions and thoughts and assumptions and the 3D itself and the circumstances themselves may feel bigger than us. It may feel like they're controlling us, that we are hopeless and helpless and powerless to do anything to change things for the better, but that is never true. That is never true. And you know why? Because we have that thing called an imagination. And if with our imagination, we're able to imagine something different, if we're able to think about things a different way, if, for example, our SP did something or said something that we didn't like, we can actually imagine differently. And we have that option, we have that choice 100% of the time. And because we know that consistent, aware, focused imagination actually results over time, and it might be soon, it might not take long, but over time, sooner or later, it's going to result in what we're consistently imagining materializing into the 3D world. And because we know we have a choice 100% of the time in what we imagine, how we imagine, and what we identify with, and what thoughts and assumptions and beliefs and feelings and states we identify with, then we know that our manifestation is 100% of the time our choice. So the next time that you get doubts, the next time you get flooded with fear, with insecurities, with questions of, is it going to manifest? Is that even possible? Is it ever going to happen? Am I doing things right? Am I doing something wrong? Why am I not seeing movement? Why am I not seeing any change in the 3D? All these kinds of thoughts. Next time you get flooded with thoughts like that and feelings like that, and you start becoming aware of going into a state of victimhood and a state of powerlessness and helplessness, I want you to take a pause and ask yourself, okay, in this moment, what am I choosing? Am I choosing my empowered version? Am I choosing my confident version? Am I choosing my higher self, my God self, if you will? Am I choosing to be the person who knows that everything I want is possible, every reality is possible, every possibility is here for me, and it's up for grabs and it's available to me? Or am I choosing to be a victim? Am I choosing to be disempowered? Am I choosing to be discouraged and feel like I'm helpless and there's nothing I can do and I have no options and life is happening to me? Be honest with yourself, and if you find yourself falling into that second category, pause in that moment and choose again. Choose something different. Choose something better. Choose something that's more favorable, something that serves you, something that favors you, something that aligns with what you actually want. Because guess what? It does exist. It is a possibility out there. You have chosen it. It is available to you. You're able to choose it any given moment. And so you need to go for it. You need to choose again. Practice this over and over as needed. Every time you get the doubts, every time you start wondering if it's possible, what am I doing wrong, am I not seeing movement, etc., etc. Practice asking yourself, what am I choosing in this moment? And if you find that you're not choosing what you actually want, take a pause and choose again. So practice doing that, and you will find that the more you practice doing that, the more you're training your mind to think in that way. And the easier it becomes and the more natural it becomes for you. Make it a habit, a daily habit if possible, to always choose the best for you, to always choose what you want, the versions of reality that you want, the versions of the story that you want, and choose the version of yourself that you want to be, the version of yourself that you want to experience. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.